Now in next this video we will study how can we multiply two complex numbers if we are given two complex numbers. For example, s is given by 4 plus 3 iota, and the value of t they have given by 3 minus 2 iota. So they can ask what will be the value of st. It represents that the complex number s is multiplied by the complex number t. So for the solution, it's also very simple, but only we will use the basic definition of iota. So here I will show you how can we calculate. Write the value of s and then write the value of t here. The multiplication procedure is the same as we have done earlier in our algebra. This 4 will multiply by 3 and this 4 will multiply by 2 iota. Each number of this will multiply by this every number of this, and each number, second number, here we have only first and second terms, so second term will multiply by each and every term of this second bracket. So 4 multiplied by 3 will give you 12, right? And it will give you iota square. Now we have discussed earlier that imaginary number will be added in imaginary number, right? So we can add these two. 12 will remain as it is, plus 9 minus 8 will give you plus 1 iota, minus 6 and iota square will replace by minus 1. As in my previous video I have told you, you have to remember these basic definitions, and we will use the application of these definitions in the questions. So in this way you can see we are applying the definitions, right? Now again as real parts will be added in, or constants will add in constant. So this is the value of multiplication of s and t, right? It's so simple. This is the multiplication of two complex numbers, right? So multiplication of complex number is very simple, as you have seen. Next thing we will do that what is the conjugate? This is a new term for you, complex conjugate. If a complex number z is x plus iota y, then its conjugate will be get by. So if we have a complex number z is equal to x plus iota y, then the complex conjugate of z will be x minus iota y. The thing is that the real part will remain the same, only we will change the sign of imaginary part and then we will get complex conjugate, right? What is the complex conjugate of a complex number? In complex conjugate of a complex number, the real part of the complex number will remain same, as you have seen x will remain x here, but the imaginary part, the sign of the imaginary part, it will be changed. Here we have a plus sign, and in conjugate, complex conjugate, it will become minus iota y, right? And conjugate or complex conjugate can be represented by either z star, or sometimes it is written by z bar. You have to remember this. How can we denote complex conjugate? Either it is represented by z star or z bar. So I will give you little bit example so you can easily get it. For example, if z is equal to minus 3 plus iota, then what will be its conjugate? Its conjugate will be minus 3 minus iota. and I represent conjugate by z bar, or you can represent it by z star, right? If a complex number is z is equal to 6 minus 4 iota, then its conjugate will be 6 plus 4 iota. Just change the sign of the imaginary number, then you will easily get the conjugate of a given complex number. If z is given by 12 plus 3 iota, then its conjugate of complex number will be, just change the sign of imaginary number. So in this way you will get the complex conjugate, right? This is the multiplication of complex number. So simple. I have told you, I have done for you here. Two complex number I have taken and just multiply them and replace the I square with iota square with -1, and just add the imaginary numbers and then add the constant. You will get the multiplication. And then we have discussed about complex conjugate. I have told you that real part will remain same and the imaginary part, it will change the sign and we will get the complex conjugate. And how can we represent complex conjugate is, we will represent it by z star or z bar. So you will get it. Next is, how can we write, for example, if they have given us two complex numbers and they are in fraction form, and they said write this as a complex number or in the form of a complex number. So how can we do it? In this form. So in the factorize in this fractional form, how can we solve this? You have to remember one step only here, that first of all we will multiply this fraction by conjugate of denominator. What is denominator here? 3 minus iota. So if they have given a fraction form and they say you have to convert into a plus iota b form, the first ever step which will be, it will come in your mind, what you will do, you will just multiply the given expression by the conjugate of the denominator only. Denominator is here, so the conjugate of denominator will be 3 plus iota, and I am going to multiply it and divide it by its conjugate. 3 minus iota, its conjugate with 3 plus iota, right? Whatever you will multiply, you have to divide it by it. Why? Because after simplification they will give you the same expression, so there is no effect on our expression, right? But by this procedure we can easily solve our expression. That is why we are multiplying and dividing this expression by conjugate of the denominator, which is 3 minus I. So 3 minus iota conjugate will be 3 plus iota. I am multiplying and dividing it, this expression, by this 3 plus iota. What I will get? Numerator will multiply by numerator and denominator will multiply by denominator, like that. Now multiplication of these two brackets are the same. First will multiply by 3 plus iota, it will give you 6 plus 2 iota, And next step, 2 iota will multiply by 3 and 2 iota will multiply by iota. I am going to write 3 to 6 iota plus 2 iota square. And in this denominator, what's going on in this denominator? I am going to write the formula which I am going to use it here. It's the formula of algebra, very important basic formula of algebra which is used in nearly all questions. If we have first terms equal, second terms equal, and between them we have plus and minus sign, we will write a first term whole square minus second term whole square. So I am using this formula here, right? Again we will use the definition of iota square, right? It's not double iota, it will be iota only. 2 iota plus 6 iota will give you 8 iota plus 2 iota square. Definition is minus 1. I am using it here. Again iota square, I am using the definition of minus 1 here. It will give me 9 plus 1. And next you have to simplify it here. 6 minus 2 will 4 over 10. If you will take 4 as common, it is divided by 10, you will get 1 plus 2 iota, and here after cutting you will get 2 over 5, 1 plus 2 iota, and here 2 plus 5 will multiply by each and every term, which are here 2 terms only. So we will get 2 plus 5 plus 4 by 5 iota, and in this way it will get the form a plus iota b, which we have to do. As we have in the question we have given, you have to write it in the form a plus b iota or iota b. So we have written it in this form. So whenever the question is in the form of a fraction and they will say you have to convert into a complex number form a plus iota b, just you have to multiply and divide the expression by the conjugate of the denominator. In this case, conjugate of denominator is 3 plus iota. I have multiplied and divided by this, and then I have simplified, and then I will get the expression in the form of a plus iota b. Hopefully you will get it.